darker green, just kind of over it, next to it. Now, of course, if you're coloring with color pencils, you'll be more precise. It's one of the things I love about using chalk pastels. You don't have to be super precise. Okay. Now I'm just going to blend these. You can use pastels without blending. You don't always have to blend them. I just like to because I feel like they're pretty thick, and I just wonder even if I seal it with a fixative, if it would still have a tendency to flake off. So that's why I always blend. So I'm just gonna add some more of the dark. Hi, Finn. Okay, baby, this is not the time. See what he does to me? All right, I'm sorry, baby, not now. All right, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the dark. I feel like it kind of blended out too much when I blended. All right, now when I blend, I'm just gonna do it very, very lightly just to spread out that darker color a little bit, but not get rid of it. As you work with pastels, you really learn how to work with the blender so you don't take your color away totally. So it really takes a little bit of practice. Okay, so what do I want to do next? I think I want to get the ropes done. Now for the ropes, I am going to use colored pencil. So I'm going to pull out a beige. So this is beige Prismacolor, which is 940. And then I'm going to have burnt ochre 943, just in case I want to put a little contrast in there. So I'm just gonna color over the rope. So I'm using a beige. You could use a light brown. You could use whatever color that you want to for the rope. Many times I use a cream or like an off-white. I have the Brutfuner set, and they have some colors that aren't exactly white. They're a little bit creamier. So I'll use those. So I tend to use different colors for rope. depending on the rest of the picture. But I think this color goes well with the color palette that I have going so far. I will do this often if I have parts of a coloring page that are really thin or very small. I'll use a regular colored pencil instead of a chalk. Okay, I think I got all of them. Yes. All right, now I'm just going to add a little bit of the burnt ochre, just kind of here and there, especially where the lines are. Just adding a little bit just for a little contrast. You will probably hear me sniffing a lot. I am very sorry. My allergies are acting up right now, so I do apologize if this is a little sniffy. Okay. All right, great. That was done. That was easy and fast. Okay, so now I think I'm going to do the lantern. Now, I was thinking about this yesterday, and to me, Chinese lanterns are usually reds, oranges, golds. So I was thinking about how something red would look in this picture. And on the one hand, I think it would look kind of cool. I think it would give it some contrast. But at the same time, I also feel like it'll be pretty stark. But I kind of feel like if it stands out a little bit, and as long as I don't use a super bright red, I think it'll be okay. And I'm also going to use some gold. So I'm going to use my gold metallic jelly roll pen to do some of these details on this little lantern. I'm going to bring you in a bit. Okay. So I'm going to do this little hanging piece up here, this little hanging ring. And I think I'm going to do this gold. And then I'm going to do the bottom. I'm going to do the little ball on the tassel and then the little finding of the tassel. And then I think I am going to do these stripes gold as well. You could definitely do silver. I am definitely more of a silver person than a gold. But I do use both. Sometimes I just see something and it just looks like it should be silver or gold. I just get an inkling of which it needs to be. So now I am going to pull out my reds. And they are 325 and 330. So as you can see, this one is much darker than this one for a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to use the lighter color first on the tassels, the fringe and the tassel. Okay. Just want to make sure that is dry before I color anything else. Okay, let me make sure. Yeah, okay. So I'm going along the outer edge, or I guess maybe the inner edge of the lines. And then with the darker, I'll fill in the rest. And then when I blend, that shouldn't be too bright. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks okay. All right, and I'm just gonna go over the gold stripes again because I want them to be shiny. I didn't think about that. I probably should have done them after the chalk. Okay. Just a learning curve. All right. Okay, so I think now I'm going to do the little snow drifts. So I've been thinking about the little snow drifts. So I want them to be mostly white with accents of blues and purples. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to color all of the little snow drifts white. But while I have you zoomed in, I'm going to color one or two so that way you can see how I'm going to do this. And then I'll go back and do the rest of them. Okay. So I'm just coloring these in white. And I'm going to blend that out a little bit before I add the other colors in. That way the other colors won't contaminate as much. So I'm using this blue, it's 430. It's sort of like a periwinkle color, I think. And then I have this purple, which is more of a mauve, and that is 642. So I'm just gonna test this to see if that's really what I want. I don't know if that's actually the color I'm looking for. There's only 3 purples in this set, which again, I'm sort of not happy with. They didn't do really well with the purples and the pinks. This is the darkest purple. This is 385. Let me try this one. Yes, that's what I'm looking for, but very lightly. So I'll have to use a very light hand and blend out really well. So I'm gonna add a little bit of purple to this one. And then a little bit of blue to the other one. So I'm gonna make them look different. Okay. So now I'm gonna just blend that slightly I want it to be really subtle. Yeah, okay. So that's how I'm gonna do the rest of the little snow piles. So I'm gonna bring you back up and continue to work on the snow. If any were really contaminated with another color, I will erase. I'll use my eraser for that and just get rid of that extra color. Most of it, I'm just kind of coloring over it. I don't think it really gets in the way too much. There are these little snow drifts everywhere, so I'm really trying not to miss any. There's a lot of them. Now I'm not doing the large snowballs or snowflakes. I am going to do something else with those with gel pen. So stick around and you'll find out what I'm gonna do with those. All right, so I think I have all of them. So again, I'm gonna alternate these purple, using the purple and the blue. I don't know, I just think it will give a little bit more texture and interest. All right, I've seen another one that I missed earlier. Okay. Let me color this little guy. All right. And just a tip, you probably already know this, but when you blend with white, you just want to keep that blender only for whites. You just want to keep it pristine, because then you'll just contaminate your white areas, and you don't want that. So when I start one, I use it only for white. Okay. Now you could make your accent colors a little darker. It's whatever floats your boat, whatever you like, whatever looks best to you. Okay. All right, so I like those so far. Let's keep going. Oh my gosh, there are so many of these. Now I'm thinking about whether I'm going to add some sparkle to these little snow drifts. And I think I'm sort of leaning towards yes. I think they would look really, really pretty, sparkly. So I'm going to be using my Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen. On these. But you could use whatever kind of sparkly surface or sparkly pen or marker you would like to, or even like a sparkly top coat. Some people like to use nail polish. I think you could use whatever. Okay. All right, I think I got them all. I think it'll help them stand out a bit too. Some of them almost blend right in. Okay. I would love to know your technique for doing the snow, if you do it different than I am. How you're making your little snow drifts. I'm not a big fan of coloring all these little tedious details. I think I like coloring larger areas better. Oh, I didn't do these. Okay. All right, I think I got all of them. All right. So I really want to do the sparkle pen now, but I'm going to hold off because that will take a few minutes to dry. So I don't want to do that just yet. All right. So I think now I'm going to do the chameleon. And I'm going to give him yellow eyes. So that I'm going to do with a colored pencil. So this is a Jasmine Prismacolor 1012. I believe it's Jasmine. Yes, that I have just hanging around. I'm just going to give this little guy some yellow eye. Okay. And I'm going to use lime peel and color his body with lime peel. I'm not being too super precise here. This is a little, it's just a little thing. a little, just a little guy. I just added a little bit of beige in there for the tree trunk in between. And now I'm just going to pull out Crimson Lake, which is one of my favorite Prismacolor reds. That's 925. And I'm going to do the little design areas on him. I think this looks good. It connects him to the Chinese lantern. Helps him to fit in there. Okay, and he is done. I can zoom in so you can see what he looks like. Okay, so that's what my little guy looks like. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on him because he's pretty small and he's really sort of an extra on the page, but I just kept him there because I like him. All right, so now I'm going to color the crystals. So I want these to look different from the snow. I don't want them to be exactly the same. So I think So I think I'm going to, and they're not like specifically crystals, and they're very small and skinny, so I'm not going to do them like I would a regular crystal with all the facets and all that. I'm not going to do that. So I am going to, all right, I think first I'm going to lay down white on top. And then that'll give me a few seconds to figure out what I want to do. I want to give them an accent color or kind of go over the lines with a different color. I'm just not sure exactly what yet. I'm sort of thinking blues, but I'm also thinking gray. All right, so first let me just color them white. If you do yours a cool way and you like how it turns out, I would love to see it. Or at least know in the comments how you did it. Because there are lots of crystals and I think other pages that have these on them. So I'd love to get ideas for the future. All right, some of these are a little bit too contaminated with brown. I'm going to erase that a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to use the blue or a blue. I'm just going to use a different blue than I used on the snow. I think I'm actually going to use the minty green. So this is 545 once again. And this is sort of a minty blue. So let me show it to you on here. So it's a light blue, kind of turquoisey, I guess, but it has a cool vibe to it, a cooler vibe to it. So I'm going to do that. So I'm just gonna go very lightly over the lines. I sharpen my pencil so I have a nice sharp point. I'm not being too precise, but trying to go over the lines only. I'm not going to blend this in. I'm just going to let the blue stand as it is. I think this is actually a leaf that I didn't get. There we go. Okay. It's a pretty windy day here today, and so my wind chimes are really going, and I just love that. I love the sound of the wind chimes. It's so comforting. We had an ice storm over or snowstorm over Christmas, actually a blizzard, and the chimes were really going then until the snow got so high and the chimes were buried. So all of a sudden we just didn't hear them anymore. It was like, oh yeah, the snow got, the snow's burying the chimes now. Okay. All right, so I kind of like that. So I'm gonna zoom in for you so you can see a little bit better how the blue of the crystals, or the blue on the crystals, looks. I like that. It just gives it a little bit of pizzazz and allows them to stand out a little bit, which I like. They're small, and there's not too many of these, so I like how this allows them to stand out a little bit. Okay, so now I'm seeing different areas that I didn't fill in with color, so I'm just doing that real quickly. Okay, so now I think I'm just gonna keep, so at this point, I'm just gonna keep checking for mist, mist areas. So I see some other places where I did not fully color an area, so I'm just going over that a little bit better. Now, you may not have to do this. I find that I always have to do this. I always miss something somewhere. Or especially when I use chalk, sometimes I find that certain areas got blended out more than I would have liked. So I just have to add a little bit more color there. Okay. All right, so I think I have that the way I want it. So now I'm going to go to the background. So I definitely wanted this background to be dark because I felt like it would make everything else pop. And I feel like making this a night scene would be really sweet. So they're, you know, sleeping, they're in bed for the night. So I wanted to make this dark. I'm not sure if I want to do black, to be honest. I think I might want to do some purples and blues. And I'm sort of thinking that I might want to use my gelatos. So if you've, excuse me, if you've never used gelatos before, you could totally, or you don't want to, you could totally use watercolor paints or markers, whatever you would like. So I have, I've used gelato several times in several of my videos. So this is my stash. I actually have 2 more sets in my Amazon cart right now, and that will give me all of the gelatos that they make so far. So I am looking for a darker blue and a darker purple. I think that's too light. Maybe I might be able to use that though too. I think that's more pinky. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love looking for colors. Okay, so I have a couple of purples. So I have 2 purples and 2 blues. So if you have these, I'll share what I've pulled out. So I pulled out the metallic grape, which is a metallic gelato. I've pulled out satellite, which is an iridescent. I've pulled out galaxy, which is another purple, which is also an iridescent. And then I've pulled out nebula, which is also an iridescent. So I don't want to apply the color directly to the page because that will be really hard to control, and there are a lot of really small spaces. So I am going to use a palette, which is actually a paper plate, and I'm going to rub the gelatos on there and then pick it up with my paintbrush. So I just got a cup of water and I'm using the paintbrush that comes with the gelatos. It is a very flat angled brush. So I've been using this a lot. You can tell it's tinted kind of bluish green. And the paintbrush is getting a little worn out, although it's good quality, but this is well loved. Luckily, I have, I think, 3 other ones, so I should have enough to carry me through. And then when I buy my two new sets, I will get 2 more, so that will add to my collection. So now, instead of doing this in layers, like purple, blue, going across, I think I'm just gonna do kind of patches around. I don't want it to look really uniform. So I'm taking my gelato and I'm just rubbing it on my palette. Now, if you have a real palette, I think this would work even better. I wouldn't use paper because it is porous. Now, this paper plate has a coating on it, so it's not the same as a regular paper plate. I would definitely use something that will not absorb the color. All right, so that's that purple. This one that I'm adding now is the satellite. So this one is actually kind of a grayish blue, which I like. Now I'm doing the nebula, which is more of a turquoise. This is a little bit of a lighter blue. I'm not sure I'm going to use that. It might be too light. Okay, and now I am doing the galaxy, which is a deeper purple than the other one I just used. Okay. All right, I'm actually going to check for a darker blue. Don't know if I have a darker one. All right, so I'm actually going to pull out the black. This one is Black Hole, and it is an iridescent as well. And when the black hole dries, it gets sort of a purpley, bluish tint to it because of the iridescence. So I really like that. Okay, so I'm gonna use those. I don't think I'm gonna use this other one. I think it's too light. So I'm actually going to start with the black hole. So I added some water to my paintbrush, and I'm just swishing that around. Okay. I am not a painter. I don't typically like painting. I especially don't like painting small details. So this for me is a little bit out of my comfort zone, I would say. But the gelatos go down really nicely. They're nice and smooth. And I don't care really if I go over the snowballs because, or even partially, because I'm going to be covering them with gel pen. So I'm not worried about them getting covered. So I'm continuing with the black. Okay, now I'm gonna do the darker purple. Okay. Not being a painter, I really like this angled slim brush because it allows me to have some extra control that I probably don't have not being a painter. So or someone who likes to paint. And I'm just being really careful around the edges, as careful as I can be. And then I'm not being too precise with how the colors meet each other. I'm just kind of doing that. I want it to be a little random. I want it to look like it's real sky, and you know, the colors are kind of random in the sky. So I just want it to sort of fade into one another. Do a little purple over here. This definitely was a little nerve-wracking for me to do on a video for a color along because I really didn't know how it would turn out. And this one was probably my least planned one that I've done. I really didn't think, I mean, I thought a little bit about the colors, but not extensively. So this one was really a different one for me. If you're doing something different than me for the sky, I would love to see or to know what you did. Okay. I still have a lot of purple here on my plate, so I'm going to keep going with the purple. I kind of ran out of black faster. I guess I didn't put as much on my brush, so... I'm just kind of randomly picking areas to paint. I'm definitely going to use some blue next. I would love to know in the comments if you paint a lot. Do you like using paint on your coloring book pages? I like the gelatos. I don't own a set of watercolors. I have a few random watercolors. Some I bought in like little sets. And they're like in little round boxes, but they're individual. I don't have any, I don't have any others. I think I have like there's like 4 colors. I do have a lot of acrylic paints, but that's because I do other crafting. Ooh. I want that to get on his fur. Okay, I'll have to fix that up. Okay. I've never used acrylics on a coloring book page other than Posca pens. All right, so I'm kind of getting sick of the purple, so I'm going to go to the blue now. I'm actually going to add some more on my palette. I hope this pays off. It doesn't look really great right now, but I really hope that when I get to the end that I can see it come together and that it looks the way I see it in my head. So, not quite sure it's getting there yet. I'm just taking a colored pencil and just coloring in that little section there between, that little ring between the hanging lantern. Now, I am not necessarily going to make my lantern be lit. I was thinking about it, but then it's such a pain to create the glow and go around it. I think I'm going to try to create the glow after, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So I'm not gonna worry too much about it. So how many pages do you have finished this year so far? So we're almost at the, well, we're in the middle of February, towards the end. I don't have too many, to be honest. I am, like I said earlier in the video, I started a new job, which is taking up a lot of my time. I also teach college. I'm teaching one class this semester, and that takes time. The students, it's an intro to education class, and the students had their first graded assignment due, their first like full paper. And I have 28 students in my class. So that took me quite a while. Quite a while to do. So, all right, I need to refresh my palette. So I'm gonna do that. I really enjoyed reading their papers. Most of them were really good. They had to think of a topic that interested them that has some sort of justice implication, and then they needed to think of a question and research it. So I had, this is an education course, and usually only education majors take it, but this semester I have a lot of mixed majors. About half of them are not education majors. So this semester, for the first time since I've been teaching this course, I got very varied topics on their papers. And so they were very interesting to read. I really enjoyed their topic choices and their different take on different concepts of justice. So I really enjoyed that. I love grading the papers. I just don't like all the time that it takes, because it does take a very long time. I get very happy when they're done. So, I sort of got off on a tangent. So I have not finished very many pages, I think, or I've not colored very many pages. I've finished some. I am really working hard on my finish a full book challenge. So I have some Anastasia Ellie Calder-Reva books that I've colored on every page, and then I just need to finish them. Some pages are finished, some pages are not. So I've been working really hard to get those done. So I've been finishing up a lot of those pages, and then I think I did color a page from Kirby Roseanne's Mythic World. I colored Thor, if you have that book. So that's the guy who's standing in between like two gorges with the lightning coming up from him. If you have that book, you'll know what I mean. So I did color him. And I may have done one other page. Other than that, not so much. I think I'm probably in the 2 to 3 range as far as full pages that I just started. And then I think I'm in like the 10 range of pages that I already started, works in progress. Oh my gosh, I just realized here I did not finish these crystals at all. Wow, that was a real oversight. Okay, just goes to show I am not perfect. All right. Okay, I'm gonna get a little black again. Starting to see it come together a little bit. I'm not regretting doing it this way yet. I may soon, but not yet. It's a little tedious, but I'm actually enjoying the process. Holy cow. This non-painter is enjoying the process of painting. If you've never used gelatos before, and I have said this in other videos, I strongly suggest that you try them. Even if you buy a small pack, I'm not sure if they sell the small packs on Amazon. I haven't seen them, but they may sell the smaller packs in stores like Joann Fabrics or Michael's, or even in a craft store or Blix, or maybe even on the Faber-Castell website. I had bought 2 packs that had 4 colors in them, and I think it's a great way to start. I wasn't sure if I would like them. I really had never seen them or experienced them before, so I wanted to start out small. And once I started using them, I was like, oh my gosh, these are awesome. So I wanted to keep on using them. So maybe if you wanted to try them, because the regular sets come in, I think you get 10 gelatos, and then they have some where I think you get 12, or it might even be 15 or 18. Those are like larger sets, and they come with more things. I think they even come with paper and maybe some art projects that you can do. But if you just want to try it, it's really nice to get a smaller set, and then you can just see how you like them. I think I probably would have at some point gotten into painting, but because now I have the gelatos, I really don't need to, because these work just like paints. I'm not exactly sure if Faber-Castell considers them paint or not, but you can use them like paint, so I don't feel like I need to now go out and buy a set of watercolors or acrylics or whatever, because I have what I need. I can just use my gelatos, and they work great as paint. I really like using them that way. All right, we are getting down to the wire here. Yay! Still seeing some areas where I need to add a little bit more color, so I'm doing that. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go back in with the blue. I kind of like the randomness of this. There's lots of things I love about coloring. I love the preciseness, you know, coloring in certain areas in certain colors or ways, but then I also like being able to be a little just not exact and just put colors kind of wherever and see how it turns out. See what happens. I kind of like that. Now the gelatos look better as they dry, so the iridescence will get really kind of sparkly and shiny. I don't know if it's really happening now, but it takes a little while. One thing I want to do is I want to color a page totally in gelato. So I've been looking for a page to do that. And I think I actually found one. I think there's one I want to do in Hannah Carlson's. I think it's in Daydreams. It's either in Daydreams or in Grains of Gold. But it's a jellyfish page, and I just think it would be really perfect for gelatos. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more purple now up on the top. I'm almost done with the top and the sides, and then I can go into the bottom, and then I'll be done. I've always tried to make my color alongs be less than 3 hours, but I just don't think it's possible. Like I look at a page and I think, oh, this won't take that long, and it winds up being about 3 hours. I think the one I did, I think the NYX that I did from Mythic World, that one I used only gelatos and chalk pastels, kind of like this one. And I think that one was 2 hours and, I don't know, 45 minutes, something like that. It was less than 3, but it was up there. And I really thought that I'd be able to do it in like 2 hours or maybe even less, but that just didn't pan out. So I was a bit off on that one. Okay. All right. Sorry, just seeing another area where I left out some color. Okay. I start to feel so happy when I'm almost done with a section or an area or using a certain material. Okay, I think I'm going to go back to black. I need to go ahead and add some more to my palette. The black is not going on the palette as well as the other colors are. Oh, okay, here, now it's doing better. All right. One thing I will say is that the gelatos are covering the area where I used the white gel pen to cover out the hidden, to cover up the hidden objects. The gelatos are doing a really good job with that. So I really like that. I'm happy about that. I'm just going over some of the areas where I did the black just to make them a little darker. I probably will go over quite a few of these areas a little bit. Sometimes depending on how much of the actual gelato you get on your pen, on your brush compared to the water will depend on, will, you know, determine how saturated the color is. So sometimes you just have to go, you might have to go back and add a little bit more, which is fine. I never mind doing that. Sometimes I want it to look a little more transparent. Other times I want it to be pretty opaque. And there's another area that I just found that I did not do the blue for the crystals, so I will go back and do that. One thing I'm finding the more I color is that it's okay to let go. Like sometimes your pages don't turn out exactly how you want them. They don't turn out the way you envision it originally in your head. Or, you know, you see somebody else's and you're like, ooh, I want to try that technique, or I want to make it look like that. And it just doesn't happen. And I'm learning to be okay with that and not get upset and think that the page is trashed or whatever. I'm learning to be okay with whatever gets on the paper, with whatever, however it turns out. And that's kind of freeing for me because I was very hard on myself. So how are you? Are you hard on yourself? Do you expect perfection? Do you feel like you failed your pages when they don't look exactly the way you wanted to, or there's a technique you were using and it didn't turn out exactly right? I'd love to know in the comments your thoughts about that. I just always want to try to do everything to the best of my ability. So I think it's just me letting go of preconceived ideas of what good is, or what good or perfect looks like. Because a lot of other people look at my pages and they're like, oh my gosh, that is gorgeous, that is exquisite. And I, you know, and I'm thinking, I didn't really think so. So really? You really think this is gorgeous? Oh yeah. So I'm learning to like what I wind up doing on the page. Or if I can't, or fixing it if I can. If I can fix it, make it look better, great. If I can't, then that's okay too. So now I'm mostly finished. Yay! So I'm just gonna go around and I'm gonna dip random colors on my brush, just kind of using up what's left on my palette of the dark colors. I didn't use that one again. And kind of blend a little bit. Just mix the colors a little bit. more than what I had. You might start to see a little bit of the shine. The glitter. Let me see if you can. I don't know if you can see any of it yet. All right, I think I'm mostly happy with it. I think these patches here are a little darker than I would have liked, but I think that they're okay. I'm not totally, I'm not upset or anything by it. I think it'll be all right. And I'm gonna add some stars. And once I do the snowflakes, I think it'll look much better. So now I'm just using up a little more of the black. Okay, so I think I'm gonna let the background go now. No more, I am done. So I'm gonna let this fully dry and then I will come back and we will finish the page. Okay, so background's dry and I actually really like it. So now just the finishing details. So I'm going to do all of the snowballs or the little snowflakes, snowflakes. And I'm going to do them in silver metallic pen. So I have my handy dandy Jelly Roll silver metallic gel pen. So I am going to color in all my little round balls. I was sort of toying with doing them white, but I don't know, this is a fantasy page and I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different, and I want them to look a little different from the little snow drifts. So I just thought this would be neat. Just something a little bit different. Just seeing a little place I missed there. Hopefully at some point I will stop finding places that I missed. And I will know that I colored the entire page fully. I'm also going to make these a little bit more glittery by adding just a plain glitter gel pen over the top. And it'll kind of lighten them up a little bit and give them even more sparkle. In between the last segment and this one, I had to upload my videos to my computer because I was running out of space on my phone. And I really realized how long this page has taken me. But I think it's worth it. I think it's going to look really nice, and overall, I am happy with it. And that, to me, is all that counts. So I hope you can see these snowflakes. They're looking really glittery. I really like how they're looking. My medicine kicked in, so I shouldn't be sniffling anymore. So hopefully that will be better. You don't have to listen to me sniffing. I will probably set this with a fixative pretty quickly, because I've noticed that just through the process of putting the paper on top to protect my hand, and the paper has taken off some of the chalk. So I'm gonna wanna spray this and seal it ASAP. Okay. Just checking to make sure I have all of these done. Oop, missed one. Okay. All right, I think I got them all. Okay, so now that my little snowflakes are, and I don't know if you can see how silvery and glittery they are. I hope you can. They look really pretty live. So I'm gonna let those dry a little bit. And now I'm going to use my white Signo Uniball pen. So this is it. I love this pen. I think it works the best on all surfaces. Sometimes the jelly rolls do not work over wax pencils. And I find that the Signo Uniball works pretty much on any surface. So now I'm going to add some stars. And what I usually do is I make a band of tightly woven stars together, like going through. So you'll be able to see that in just a second. Let me show you kind of what I mean on regular paper so you can see. So I'm using a blue. So I kind of go like this and make a band, and then I curve it up and I curve it down, and then I add some more. Sometimes I make it thicker in places, thinner in places. So I do a band of stars like that. Make sure you can see that. I really like that. I did that on one of my color alongs, the witch one from October for Halloween in Hannah Carlson's Spirit Animals. So you can check out that if you would like to see how that looks. That one has much more surface, and so I did a bunch of those in that one. All right, so I just try to go up and down and not pull the pen, so then you get like these not really circular stars. I really try to make them as dotty as I possibly can. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but okay. So hopefully you can see that. So I have one that starts up here, kind of curves and ends there. So I'm just gonna make it a little thicker here. And now I'm just going back and just adding random and sometimes the pen stops working, so you have to get it working again, but I guess that's the joy of using gel pens. Okay. All right, this one has kind of stopped working, so because I am on video, instead of banging it on a piece of paper like I normally do, I'm just switching pens. Let's see if this one works any better. Nope, not really. All right. Okay, sorry, I got a tap. See if I can get it flowing again. And then I go back and I just make a few a little bigger so they stand out. Because as we know, real stars are not all the same size. So I add to some of them and make them stand out a little bit. Okay. And because this is such a small area, I'm not going to do another band. I'm just going to do the one. And so now I'm just going to go in and add just some random stars. You could even consider them snowflakes, depending on how you look at it. Oop. That one really messed up. Okay, there we go. And if you make a mistake, you can usually wipe it off if you get it right away, or you can color over it and then just make it again. I don't really worry about total perfection. I think that it's part of the... I don't think all stars are a uniform size in the sky, so I think it's okay to have some imperfections. Some of these are looking so much better than some others. So I'm just going to go all the way down on all the background area. They're going to be a little fewer and far between as I go down. So I'm not going to put as many. Okay, I think I got it the way I want it. All right, so I'm just going to come back up here and liven up this little band here that I have. Okay. Sorry, I had to give that another little tap. I will never understand why we can't make a gel pen that just works perfectly. We have sent people to the moon. We do all these marvelous things, but we cannot seem to make a gel pen that just works. Okay, so now I have my stars. So the finishing touch, I think, although I may see something else that I want to do, but at this point, the finishing touch is to add glitter. So I'm going to do this two ways with a clear glitter gel pen. This is a jelly roll. So all it does is add glitter. So I'm going to add glitter on top of the silver snowballs. And I'm not even gonna worry if I get all of them. If I don't, I'm okay with that. I'm gonna skip some. I think it'll give it a little bit of a different look. So this just adds more glitter and sparkle on top of what is already there. I love these pens. I think it is so worth it to get just a plain glitter gel pen. They are so versatile. Because all it does is add glitter, and you can have whatever color you want underneath. Just love them. So I'm just randomly adding glitter to some of the snowballs. I don't know if you can see that, if you can tell that some of them are more glittery than others. I don't know. I'm trying to. It's really hard to tell if you can see on camera or not. I don't know. And now I'm going to take the Spectrum Noir glitter marker pen. And I'm going to go over all of the little snow drifts and the little crystals. And this just adds a really nice layer of shine and glitter. Spectrum Noir is a British company, but you can get these on Amazon. I actually have a pack in my Amazon cart now that I want to buy. Another clear pack. I want to say there's 3. There's either 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly, but I think there's 2 or 3. So I've just realized I didn't color pretty much a whole section of the page. That was where I went over, that was where I gel penned over one of the hidden objects. So I'm just gonna go back and one thing I'm learning is that chalk does not go great over gel pen. So I might have to go over that with regular pencil, but at least I have that filled in a little bit. Okay. So yeah, these work really, really well. They come in colors and they come in clear. I have some colors, but I've actually never used them. I really only use the clear. I have never used any of the colors. I think I have like a Christmas set with like red and green. I think it has silver and gold. And I have like I don't know, like an outdoor set. I think it has green and blue in it. I don't remember exactly. Oh, I wish you could see this. It's so glittery and sparkly. It looks so pretty. I just love, love, love these pens. They're a little expensive. I'm trying to remember how much the pack is on Amazon. Is it 20 something dollars? It might be, which is a little steep, definitely. But if you can swing it, these are really good to get. There are other brands too that are not as expensive. I like these because they work really well, and I know they work. They last a long time, so it's really worth the money if you spend it. You won't have to buy more, you know, really quickly, like a week or two later. You can use these for quite some time. Okay, so just trying to look and make sure I have everything glittered that I want to. All of the little snowdrifts. Okay, and I'm gonna hold this up again. I don't know if you can see the glitter. I am trying. But it looks so, so pretty, really glittery, and just really makes this page pop. So now, and I probably should have done this earlier, but it's not really my favorite thing to do, so I usually wait till the end. I'm gonna add shadows in. So I am using a medium gray chalk pencil. This is number 724, and I am just going to very, very lightly add shadows in. Now, I usually do my shadows on the right side of everything. Don't ask me why. I just got comfortable with doing that. So it's not because I'm following a lighting rule or anything like that. I just do my shadows on the right. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Like I said, I have absolutely no concrete understanding of light sources and shadows and all of that. And to be honest, I really don't want to. I color for relaxation, for something to do, for the creative outlet, for fun. And so I don't want to turn it into something where I feel like I have to study or I have to, learn facts or remember things. I just want it to be a fun, cool thing that I do. And so I just do shadows where I feel like it. So I usually do them on the right side or underneath. And that's just where I feel comfortable doing them. So now I don't think it's absolutely necessary to put shadows in here. You definitely don't need them, but I just like to do shadows. I feel like it gives your piece just that extra something, just that extra little bit of realism and impact. And as you can see, I'm not really even blending all of these shadows. I'm just doing them. I did blend a little bit here under the chin because I thought it was a little bit too thick, I thought. But I'm not really blending it anywhere else. And again, I'm probably not hitting everything. I really don't think it matters. I think if you get most of the objects, that will, you know, help you to show 3D. I don't think you need to have every single thing shadowed. There's a lot going on this page. So I don't necessarily want to take the time to shadow everything, but I think adding some helps it to pop a little bit. Sometimes even if I'm using colored pencil, I will do the shadowing with chalk pastel because it's just so forgiving, and you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, oops, I made that too dark. If you do, you can just take it away. Chalk pastel erases better than colored pencil does. So you can get rid of mistakes really quickly and easily. And I was thinking of doing a glow. I know I mentioned that earlier, around the lantern, but I think I'm just gonna leave it be. I don't think I'm gonna add a glow in. I think I'm just gonna leave it. If you do add a glow, I would love to see what it looks like and how you did it. Because that's kind of adding glows to lanterns and light sources is kind of a bane of my existence of coloring. So I would love to see how you do it. Sometimes I smudge with my finger rather than using the applicator. Sometimes it's just easier. I'm not going around the snow, the falling snowdrops, or snowballs, as I've been calling them. I'm not doing that. I'm not going that far with the shadows. You definitely could, but And as you can see, I just kind of go all over the place. Wherever I feel like, oh, I might have missed there, I just go ahead and go over it. I don't do it in a very organized fashion at all, or maybe non-organized fashion at all. Okay. All right, I think I've done enough shadowing. So here is my finished page. I can bring you in a little bit closer. Sorry, things are waving around a little bit. So I hope you like this. I hope you like yours if you colored along with me. Again, I would love to see your finished page either in the community tab on YouTube or on the Facebook group. If you have not joined yet, I would love for you to do that. Trying to build a really fun, no drama, supportive community of crafters and colorists. So please think about joining the Facebook group. And I truly hope you enjoyed this color along. I really did. I'm so excited. I have my first page done in Mythographic, and I really am happy with it. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a very crafty day.